whether you're on Big 100 in Washington, D.C., or all around the Washington Commanders radio network, or joining us via the YouTube channel today on Commanders YouTube. A ugly afternoon, Fred Smoot.
Yes,
yet
ugly.
still in the game, probably longer than they should have been in a sense. But it felt like if there wasn't a flag, there was a sack or an incompletion or an offense that just seemed to be moving
penalty,
backwards.
something like that.
Yeah. A lot today.
Yes, this was an epitome of how the year was. So close, but yet so far away. At the end of the day, we are our own worst enemy. I think we had 6 plays, 30 and 10 plus. I mean, a third down and 10 plus. So this is a third down and 10, third down and 20, third down and 25. You can't get behind the sticks like that. I'm sorry, you can't do that with a great team. Let alone do that with a good team that doesn't have much room for error. And let's be honest, nobody wants to say this, but Fred Smoot like to report the news. I don't make the news, I just report it. And this is what I'm about to report. Okay. We just played Cooper Rush, a backup quarterback. Didn't look like a backup to me. We didn't make him look like a backup, but at the end of the day, we did not dictate the pace on defense, and on offense, we left so many plays on the field to be desired.
So 1-3, 0-2 in the division to start, and boy, it's the first week of October, and we know October and September have not been good months for this team here recently. November and on, better, but boy, you might be buried by then if you don't figure some stuff out. All right, so where to start? Phone numbers, 1-800-493-1003, 1-800-493-1003. We'll also be in the locker room here in a little bit with Julie Donaldson and D'Angelo, or excuse me, with
way to go back to last year right there, Jackson.
Back to the future, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
So, yes, we'll be in the locker room shortly with London and Julie as well to find out what is going on. I don't know what you say at this point. Look, you invested a lot in Carson Wentz, so I imagine they're going to continue to roll with him. But it was not a good performance again this week from Carson Wentz. You really have to go back 2 weeks. It's been 2 bad weeks in a row, both in division for him, and part of it's the offensive line, Fred, certainly.
Yeah.
It felt like today they wanted to run, did some good things running the football for a while, but when they needed him to be a quarterback for him, he couldn't do it.
Well, here got to think about it. All right, you knew coming in we got depth at the offensive line. We got those problems. The quarterback's supposed to be the plus in this situation. Say, all right, to this week, I'm going to have to get the ball out hot. I'm going to have to not hold the ball in my hand, and I'm going to have to not make the critical mistake because I don't want to put this group of offensive linemen in third and long. I want to be able to get into third and short, so we still had an option to run the ball. When we wanted to run the ball, we ran the ball until we needed it. And see, that's what happens when you have offensive line problems. But for the most part, Martin filled in pretty good at the center. When Sadiq Charles got in the game, he played pretty good. At the end of the day, lack of imagination in the first half, I thought, at the beginning of the game from the play calling perspective and getting the ball out of Wentz's hands. And then the thing about it is sometimes you do call the right play and he holds the ball too long. Let's be honest. All of these sacks are not on the offensive line. Some of these sacks are Carson holding the ball too long. And it's just like a spade's hand. You think long, you think wrong. That's the way it usually goes.
And drifting, and obviously got a couple intentional groundings which don't show up as sacks in the on the stat sheet, but they obviously are the same thing. They're penalties. They move you back. You lose the down. A very frustrating day. I mean, again, this passing offense, just a few weeks ago, people were like, hey, if nothing else, we can throw the football.
We are
dynamically offensive team. And now it's quite the opposite. I mean,
like now,
absolute opposite of that.
Like now we're just uncertain of everything.
Yeah.
Like we're not the only thing that I truly know we have on this team, John Allen showed up and was a monster today. Deron Payne was a monster today. And Tress Way continues to be the best player for the last 4 years. All right, all I'm saying is this. Every time he shows up, he plays ball. And even Tress Way had a physical game today. He didn't even get flagged through his way. Like, that shocked me also. Like, and I got to say this. I don't make excuse for this team. I played for this team, but I can say this. Refs, they don't go out their way to show us no love. Normal love. They just don't do it for us.
All right, we're brought to you by Window Nation. Buy 2 windows, get 2 free, and pay nothing until 2025. Visit windownation.com. We'll get to some 4 downs on 4 takeaways from this loss coming up in a bit. We'll get in the locker room coming up as well. 1-800-493-1003. But we're going to take a timeout before all that. You're watching Command Center Postgame live on the Washington Commanders YouTube channel and listening to the Washington Commanders football.
In 4th down, seconds on the clock. He hands it off, finds a hole in the middle. Clear, nothing but
Pizza, better with Pepsi.
You ever wonder why people are always on their phones? They're banking with Bank of America. Look at this guy. He bought those tickets on his credit card, and he's racking up the rewards.
She's using Zelle to pay him back for the hot dogs he's about to buy.
That's going to bring it to
And
a
the
close here
announcer?
after 3.
He's not checking the stats. He's finding some investment ideas with Merrill.
And third, as you know, in baseball means 3.
Digital tools so impressive, you just can't stop banking. What would you like the power to do?
Finding the Honda you really want just got easier. With a longer limited warranty, so long. And complimentary oil changes within the first year. You've never been more at peace than with Honda Certified Pre-Owned.
Honey, it's your turn.
Pizza, better with Pepsi.
Game show after a 25-10 loss at Dallas today to the Cowboys. We'll get to the numbers brought to you by Novak, powering a bright future for you. Here's the goofiest part of this game, Fred. Dallas was out yardage by Washington. Both teams were 5 of 15 on third downs. Washington had more first downs, but you had obviously the penalties, which were just debilitating today for Washington. 11 for 136. Dallas just 4 for 120. You also had the 2 Washington turnovers as well that did not help their cause today. And as you talked about, a lot of big chunk plays for the Cowboys, not so much for the Commanders today in this loss.
Well, it feels like this. It feels like their backup quarterback played like a starting quarterback. Like, that blows me that we made Cooper Rush look like Thomas Brady II. We made him look like a legit quarterback in this league. And for another thing, if you got to be Terry McLaurin, you got to be frustrated. You watching CeeDee Lamb get injected into their offensive game plan when he can't get injected into his game plan. Like, at one point, as a player, we got to take the game out the coach's hand. Stars have to be stars when you need it to be stars. All right, get Terry the ball. He shouldn't have to come ask you to get him the ball. If I'm Carson and I'm struggling, I want to get him the ball. But it's just not happening. And the thing about it is everybody want to point at the outline. Everybody want to point at I ain't going to lie. The defensive backs, at one point, we got to match up well against somebody. Like, You got to match up well against somebody. This duo is a top 10 paid duo in Fuller and Dollar Bill Jackson. He worth every penny. I don't even know. That's my slogan for him. And I don't even know. Today was probably one of the worst games I've seen William Jackson III play today.
Well, look, he got penalized, made some plays, but was penalized, obviously. I mean, St. Juice was penalized a few times.
Yep.
Took his own pick away. Cam Curl's pick got taken away for a hold as well. It just anytime anything good happened, there was usually a flag on the field when it was all said and done. And a lot of them were obvious. I mean, they were not hard calls.
No, they weren't hard calls.
They were not hard calls to make. So, I mean, again, you go back to discipline, to go back to the coaching part of this. I mean, these are things that are supposed to be – taken care of during the week and did not, obviously.
Well, you got to ask yourself, Jackson, also, what are we in? What are we playing? Right. Like that touchdown where C.D. Lamb ran a post-corner post on him. First of all, why do we have that much time to run a post-corner post? Second of all, what zone blitz or what cover 3 are we in where nobody's squeezing it? All right, because everybody's sitting there looking at each other. And I done seen that look. They called it the look of the lost man. I was a DB, and I was a part of that. And when you're looking and everybody lost and don't nobody know the answer, that's just not really a good feeling. And this don't leave me bad because we had something to get bragging rights today. We could have said after the day we have never lost to the Dallas Cowboys as the Commanders. We can't even take that into the future right now.
Well, now 0 for the division as the Commanders as well. By the way, you want some good news? I give some good news.
Give me some good news,
all right,
brother.
Since the Commanders did have an extra point today, make sure you can visit your local Pizzanos tomorrow where you'll receive an extra free topping all day long.
What's your favorite topping? What's your favorite topping?
Well, I like pepperoni a lot.
Oh, you a pepperoni guy?
I like pepperoni a
lot.
lot.
That's what you like?
Yeah, I love pepperoni.
I'm more of a, I like good ham on there,
Really?
I'm a carnivore.
You put pineapple with it sometimes?
No, pineapple is not my mom. She loved pineapple on pizza. I argued down that pineapple is not supposed to go on pizza.
Well, any type of meat is fine. Like just any available meat. Just
so no vegetables for you. No bell peppers, no onions, no nothing.
No, I mean like every once in a while, just to compromise my wife. Like, okay, pick one vegetable to throw on there.
And then you pick it off.
And I pick it off.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. I understand. At least we can talk about some good today.
Yeah,
and that's Paisanos.
That's right, Paisanos. We appreciate them.
Yeah, we do.
Hooking us up with that. All right.
Yeah, it's always good.
Okay, so where does this offense go from here? Okay, so you
can't go nowhere but up, Jack.
Well, that's true.
Listen to me.
But what is the offense going to have to look like? I mean, because look, all the fears of insecurities and bad things you heard over the last year about Carson Wentz have come to fruition the last 2 weeks.
Yep.
So how do you coach around that? How do you play around it? Is it even possible at this point?
I say this. If you're doing something, you say, you know what, we done seen the bad, we done seen some of the good, and we done seen a lot of the ugly. All right? We can go nowhere but up from here. All right? It's trust issues. The one thing I can say is they have trust issues.
All right, let's go in the locker room now. Julie Donaldson and London Fletcher standing by with Coach Ron Rivera. Guys?
Coach Rivera, we know this. Look at the stat sheet and the things that you did. There's plenty of things that you could say, okay, you wanted to be able to run the ball. You did. You want to be able to limit them in certain areas. You did. But one thing that's really glaring are the penalties, 11 for 136. What can you do to try to minimize that going forward?
Not get them called. I mean, do your job. You can't get a holding penalty. You can't make those mistakes. I mean, that's the bottom line. It's something that, you've got to continue to work on and focus on being more disciplined.
Coach, coming into this game, we were one of the least penalized teams in football, only 4 a game, and to come out of where we've had triple the amount of penalty that we normally have, and you have Dallas that's one of the most penalized teams, and they come out, I think, with only 2 penalties. It's just hard for me to believe that the penalty discrepancy should have been that case. Is that something that you'll look at? I know you don't want to say anything that's going to get you fined in trouble, but were some of those calls questionable?
To me, they were. I mean, they really do. I mean, the timing of the calls are what I usually get concerned with, I understand there's emphasis on certain things. There's certain things we look at. But to have that kind of an imbalance, to me, is really just, it's hard to accept. It really is. I mean, one of the things that we try to do is we try to play discipline. And obviously, when you're only averaging 4 penalties a week, and then also you come out with a week like this, there's a concern. In my opinion, there should be a concern.
We were able to see Jahan Dotson and make that really incredible catch there for a touchdown this game, but that's just the second touchdown now in 2 games. What do we need to do with the offense? Because we know that they do have that explosive playmaking ability.
Well, first of all, we can't go backwards. When you get yourself into a position where you can score, you can't go backwards. You can't have an illegal procedure. You can't have a holding call. And again, that's discipline. That's focusing in on your job.
Coach, you mentioned being in a position to score. There was an opportunity late in that ball game where we get into the red zone. The defense does a great job forcing the punt. We get on our 30, moving to that red zone, and the clock was kind of getting down, and Carson was calling for the snap. Was there any thoughts of possibly calling a timeout? Because he ended up getting sacked on that play, and looking back, would you have preferred to call a timeout?
That is something that you got to look at when the communication sometimes between him and the line they're struggling with. It was one of those things that you look at. The play was called, they were settling. It was just a matter of him getting the ball. And if there had been a little bit more confusion, I think calling the penalty would probably have been the better move.
Okay.
Overall, how would you assess the play of Carson Wentz?
Well, I think there's some room for improvement. I do think there are some things that he did were good, and I think that's important. I think, we'll take the good, we'll work on that, continue to get better at it, and the things that we struggle with, we'll try and correct.
Last one for me, Coach. Sadiq Charles, he came into the ball game, I think early in the first quarter, and he really did some good things. I thought the offensive line in general, Nick Martin has some really good blocks. The offensive line was just moving Dallas Cowboys defenders out of the way in the run game. That's one of the encouraging things you come out of this ball game with the play of the offensive line in general, especially from a run blocking standpoint?
Absolutely. Again, it's a little bit of the identity. Last year we were able to run the ball successfully. We had a 1,000-yard rusher, and I don't see why we can't do that again this year. I think running is a big part of our identity. It can be a big part of what we want to do as a football team. Stopping the run defensively, a lot of good things that we'll build off of that. Limiting some explosives, but again, we got to try and eliminate them all, and that's probably the thing that we're going to have to work on.
All right, Coach. Thank you. Appreciate it. Cool. We're going to send it back up to Fred and Scott up in the booth.
All right, thank you, Julie. And London from down in Dallas, obviously.
Hate it down there.
Not a good day in Dallas. Mm-hmm. I know you like the black uniforms, though.
Hey, listen. The only good thing came from this day was the way we was dressed. For the first time, we hit the field and our jerseys really popped. I thought the texture of them, the color, because you felt like it should have been a matted black.
No, I'm just saying some of the uniform experts, if you will, my friends that are really.
Oh, yeah, they're terrible.
I don't care about
One-Eye Willie, one of your friends.
They loved it, but they wanted it matted, the helmet. I kind of like the helmet like it is right here.
I thought it had its own little pop. The numbers showed. I love the DC flag, the stars on the side.
Well, here's my concern. Maybe because of the color being so dark, that's how they could pick up all those holding calls on your team all day.
But see, no.
And all the illegal contact. So maybe you should go back to like a more basic color so you can't get caught every
Black
time.
Black and white is the referee's color. You would think they would show favoritism toward us, but at the end of the day, those penalties really hurt us.
No, it's killer. Every time they started getting anywhere, they'd get backwards, get behind the chains.
Yeah.
It was an absolute killer. I think what London brought up about the offensive line, they did show some better things as the game went on, but
you can't put them in them situations.
But again,
Jack.
they kept getting in a hole. They're not going to be able to go straight drop back. They're better, obviously, moving forward and road grading some people with that group. But look, Charles was an upgrade at guard for sure.
Yeah, most definitely. And the thing was, you can't put that offensive line in those situations. 3rd and 15, 3rd and 20. We was 3rd and 20 plus 3 to 4 times. You can't put that line in that situation. And then at the end of the day, I thought coming out, the game plan on Parsons was the correct game plan. They ran screens at him. They ran the ball at him. They wore him down on 1st and 2nd down. So when it came to 3rd down, he was tired. He could not pass. And I thought that was going to be what they were going to work off for. The running game was pounding them, bending them to your wheel, and then you let the game get away. And I'm going to reiterate this. You let the game get away with Cooper Rush. I did not say Joe Montana the second. I did not say Joe Theismann the third. I said Cooper Rush, and I just can't get over that. We made Cooper Rush look more than a game manager today. He looked like he was dictating the game, and he looked like a leader out there.
All right, we'll get back
I'm sick.
I know you are. We'll get back to some of this after the 25-10 loss in Dallas. Phone calls coming up at 1-800-493-1003, 1-800-493-1003. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. Scott Jackson, Fred Smith with you. You're watching Command Center Postgame Live on the Washington Commanders YouTube channel and listening on the Washington Commanders Radio Network.
Dude. Fire. Grill master, huh?
Burgers, better with Pepsi.
finding the Honda you really want just got easier. With a longer limited warranty, so long. And complimentary oil changes within the first year. You've never been more at peace than with Honda Certified Pre-Owned.
Washington Commanders football is back, and so is our BOGO. On game day, buy one large pizza and get a second large pizza for free. Order online or download the app today. Paisanos, official pizza partner of the Washington Commanders.
PaisanosPizza.com.
For the Commanders' offense, in particular the passing offense, after they had a season-best rushing performance today as a group. Welcome back. 25-10, the final. Scott Jackson, Fred Smith with you. We're going to get to some phone calls at 800-493-1003, 1-800-493-1003. What did you think, at least, about the idea of trying to run it more? Obviously, you get to a certain point in this game where you're going to have to throw the football. You're going to have to make plays.
Yep.
You would like to think that the ability to run the football is going to open play action for you, but it really didn't for this team.
No, it didn't. It didn't go hand in hand. The running plays and the passing plays off of those running plays didn't go hand in hand. Like, our best running play today probably could have been the draw when they lined up in two tight ends to one short side and forced themselves on their side. So at the end of the day, anytime we tried to do the long handoff play action, they had somebody shooting the gap. They knew we was going to go there after we had success in the run. And that's when Carson has to get the ball out of his hand. Like, at the end of the day, players have to play, coaches have to coach, and I'm sorry right now, you're not getting top play out of your players. We got a top-paid quarterback in Carson Wentz who we're not getting top-paid quarterback play from. We got a top-paid cornerback in Dollar Bill Jackson III. He worth every penny. I don't know if he worth every penny, but I know this. He's not playing at the top of his ability. Kendall Fuller not playing at the top of his ability. Now, I'm not even going to put Terry in this situation because when you call his name, he answers the bell. He just ain't getting enough plays drawn up his way. Your big players have to play big in big games. And today, the Cowboys' big players, Diggs, play big. I can't believe I'm saying this. Cooper Rush played big. C.D. Lamb played. They players.
Yeah.
Michael Parsons played big. So at the end of the day, that's what you have to have. It had to go hand in hand. Great coaching, great playing, hand in hand.
All right, the Safe Drive of the Game brought to you by Crown Royal. Live generously, and life will treat you royally. Please drink responsibly.
I try to.
And you know what? There's a lot of our fans are going to need some Crown Royal.
Yeah, listen, that's the one thing
honest.
about the Crown Royal. You pour it to celebrate victories.
Yes.
And you pour it to wipe a little of that misery off.
Really, the drive of the game, if you will, the safe drive of the game was that 7-play, 65-yard drive, 3:35 taken off the clock, and it was a Jahan Dotson touchdown reception from one Carson Wentz late in that second quarter. And that was it in terms of touchdown drives. It was a great pass from Carson, one of his best of the day. And also on that drive, you had a good mix of the run. You had a big run from McKissick in there.
Yep, 31 yards.
You know, you had a good mix of that drive, but, man, they could never find any type of rhythm outside of that one.
First of all, that route that Jahan Dotson ran made Keenan McCardell smile from the back of his head to the front of it. It was a textbook route. Stem the cornerback at the top of the route, put him on his hip. After he put him on his hip, ball in the air, he catches the ball. And what most people didn't see, after he caught the ball, he made sure the DB had to ride his back so he wouldn't push him. This is a play that a 12-year vet makes. That's why you got to be very excited about this youngster. But I'm not excited about the fact that they did say he had a hamstring injury that we saw while we was watching the game, Jackson.
Yeah, that was not good. He did have a hamstring
You had
injury.
your grandfather's glasses on at the time.
I know. I had to see it. It was not good. Offensively, there was not a whole lot to write about. But, again, 27-142 on the ground. Again, Gibson was pretty strong running the football. Hey, give Jonathan Williams a ball. He might surprise you.
Yeah,
5 carries,
that's your guy.
48 yards, 23 along. Again, McKissick had 8 for 40. But Jahan Dotson, the only player to get in the end zone today, so he will be our offensive player of the game, brought to you by Victory Van Moving and Storage, delivering excellent service for 75 years and a proud partner of the Washington Commanders.
Just used them.
Let's get to some phone calls here.
Do you want to? So you now want to see the pulse of the fan base. You want to see how they feel, their emotions about this game. Hey, let us have it. Let us see what you think, man.
All right, let's get to Earl in North Carolina, who's with us first this afternoon. How you doing, Earl?
Earl in Cackalack, where you at? I guess Earl said everything he had to say then.
Say bye to Earl.
I understand, Earl. Everything you said.
How about Will in Virginia Beach?
Will, what's going on, brother?
Will, talk to us. All right.
Hey, how you doing?
Call. There you go. What's going on?
Go ahead, Will.
Hey, well, I feel very dejected. It's, a horrible loss. I feel like Wentz, he can show you what he did in week 1 when he has enough protection and time to let the play develop and throw the ball. I feel like our offensive line is not playing good. I don't know if you take him out for a week and put in a more mobile quarterback, somebody who can scramble out of the pocket and make plays when protection when there's no protection. I don't even know what else to say. I mean, I feel like it's just another year, another lost year.
You can't just. When your relationship ain't going well and your marriage ain't going well, you just can't call in for a substitute wife. You just can't kick your wife out for a week.
If you're taking him out, you're taking him out for good.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, right. You're not going to do that just for a week. I mean, if you feel like you're going to be better off playing somebody else, then you're going to just take him out. I mean,
you can't divorce her
it's just for a
weeks.
week. No, it's for good. Yeah.
Yeah,
And look, they invested a lot in him in terms of money. It is picking up that contract and obviously draft. They gave us draft picks for him as well. They're going to have to ride this out for a while, and they may find out exactly what Indianapolis found out, may find out exactly what Philadelphia was feeling.
They might. Things might get better.
Or maybe he can look like the guy in weeks 1 and 2 at some point again.
And that's what I'm saying. At the end of the day, I just can't bury him after 4 weeks of quarterback, and I refuse to. As bad as he played today, I'm upset about this Cooper Rush thing. At no day should Cooper Rush and Carson Wentz step on the field at the same time, and people consider Cooper Rush the better quarterback. At no point. If I told you this offseason we just signed Cooper Rush at quarterback, we got a chance, you would have been like, that. You're crazy.
Cowboys have cut him 5 times. You believe? Every year they cut him, and then they are bringing him back. And look, he's been terrific. They're 3-0 with him. Some people don't think your guy Dak should play right away. What do you think of that?
He shouldn't play. First of all, Russell Wilson came back earlier last year with this. How could you ask a quarterback to throw a football without his thumb? All right, now I can see Dak rushing back because Cooper Rush is winning all these games. But if I was Dak, I would not come back until I can physically, 1, protect myself, and 2, do my job.
All right, let's get to Tony and Charlotte next up here on the official postgame. How you doing, Tony?
Talk to us, Tony.
Tony.
Well, again.
Tell you what, the callers are you're dropping the ball much like the Commanders were today on offense.
Well, I feel like the callers are saying everything they got to say without saying words. All right? Like, at the end of the day, we all watched the same game today, and it was lackluster. It was lackluster in every way. Defense didn't play well. They played weight in spots. They didn't play winning defense. Like, everybody going to try to say this is the offensive loss. No. Your defense just gave up 25 points to Cooper Rush, a.k.a. the backup. So you telling me the Jackson 5 did a concert, Michael Jackson couldn't sing because his throat was hurting, Tito stepped in, and they sold more tickets. No, it don't go like that. Like, defense, you should have been like, I wish I had my guy Sean Springs here with me, because me and Sean would have been licking our chops to play against a backup. Like, that's when you get your stats. That's when you go get the ball. We're playing a backup. First of all, let's go out here and establish the fact that he is a backup, and let's make him know and understand that he's a backup. And that's the approach I think you got to take. Like, we should have set Cooper Rush on fire when it came to the blitz.
Yeah, they did a good job shutting down the run. Dallas really never got anything going rushing-wise, but there's just too many of these chunk plays.
Big plays.
Rush, big plays. That CeeDee Lamb, Noah Brown. That was, I think, your favorite player of the game.
No, Noah Brown is not a speedster, Jackson. Nobody would consider Noah Brown a Corvette or either a Lamborghini. He's more of a S500 Benz.
Right.
It can ride fast if you push it, but it ain't need to be pushed like that. For him to start beating our guys. Like, Noah Brown is, would you consider that number 3?
Yeah.
Well, why is that number 3 receiver B9 number 1 corner? B9 number 2 corner. Like, that should not be happening.
Not at all. All right, 800-493-1003. Connect with the phone calls coming up here in a bit. We'll also get back to Dallas. Hope to hear from Carson Wentz, his perspective on what went down today in a 25-10 loss. You're watching Command Center Postgame Live on the Washington Commanders YouTube channel, and you're listening to the Washington Commanders football.
From selecting the perfect produce and triple checking its quality to preparing it for you, we have perfected the art of fresh.
This is Maya Titan. She's smiling because her small culinary supply store, Titan's Pans, is up and running. And this is NFL star Derrick Henry accidentally tagging Titan's Pans instead of his loyal fans. Which, very unexpectedly, has her business trending. And trending, and trending, and oh my. And there goes the internet. Good thing Maya uses FedEx to help prepare for unexpected demand. Because you never know what's next.
Come on, Mr. Sanders, focus.
Jamie Foxx, what's up, my man?
What up, Barry? Got time to chat bets?
Yeah.
All right, good. So we got Cincy over Cleveland, right?
Boom, there you go.
Mm-hmm. Now, parlay time. Would you put Miami in with L.A., Vegas, and
Oh,
Denver?
no. Terrible.
I was feeling that, though.
What did Jamie Foxx want?
Oh, I've got no idea. Come on, serve it up.
Back here after a Commanders loss to the Cowboys 25-10 today in Dallas. Next up, it is the Commanders and the Tennessee Titans. Right now, we're going back to Dallas. Carson Wentz is standing by with Julie Donaldson and London Fletcher. Guys?
All right, Carson, you come in here into the Cowboys, kind of adjusting a little bit the mindset and how you wanted to approach this game. Really kind of focus a little bit on running the ball, which you were able to do, but it seemed like, especially to start the game, there were penalties on the first 3 opening drives. At the end of the day, there were 11 overall. How difficult is that to kind of get into any sort of rhythm when it kind of seems at times you're working against yourself?
Yeah, it's hard to overcome those things, especially against a really good defense like they are. Obviously, you had a plan of attack to come out, run the ball, and we did some good things like you mentioned. And if you're going to live in that world, if you're going to live in that kind of we're going to be efficient and just try and stay ahead of the chains running the ball, penalties can really kill you. And I think that that kind of caught us off guard a little bit early on, made some mistakes. Obviously, the intentional grounding I got to be better. And just a couple things that put us behind the chains. And when you're playing in a game like that against a good defense, that'll cost you.
Carson, you mentioned the one intentional grounding where, it was the right call, didn't get past the line of scrimmage. The second one, what were your thoughts on that one? You were under duress. You got a receiver, granted, you threw it, maybe 10 yards away from him or ahead of him. Your thoughts on that one, that intentional grounding?
Yeah, it's hard to say. I don't want to point fingers or call anybody out. Those are just plays that we got to make. We got to be better, and there's some miscommunication and some different things that I can help out with. But yeah, the intentional groundings, I got to find a way to not eat those ones. Those are drive killers in those situations, and I got to own those ones.
No, I thought it was a bad call from the referee standpoint, not on our standpoint, not calling anybody out. But I just thought in that situation, you're getting pressure, you're backpedaling, and you throw it, and it goes a little bit further than the receiver, but it's just for them to call that call after they didn't initially throw it and have a conversation. That's what I'm saying. It just was from our vantage point, it just seems like a questionable call by the referees and officials.
Yeah, definitely frustrating, hard to say. Thought there was a couple today that were definitely frustrating. I don't know if they were the right or wrong calls, but we had a couple big plays on defense, so we're all hyped, getting up, ready to go on the attack, and next thing you know, there's a penalty. Again, right or wrong calls, I'm not sure, but just a couple kind of momentum killers today in the penalty department that definitely hurt us.
For the ability that you have with the different playmakers, receivers, the passing yards, you only have 2 touchdowns in the last 2 games to kind of really show for that. When you're in these moments, what do you do to go back to the guys and say, we just need a reset here, because we know we have the talent in the room and the ability to be able to move the ball and make big plays?
Yeah, you hit it on the head. We got to remind ourselves who we are. We got to go practice and show it and go execute right away on Wednesday, because, again, I say it every week, but the league's fast. It's fast and furious. There's no time to sulk, no time to feel sorry for yourself. It's time to go, and I know that I'm confident in myself and the guys around me to keep getting better, keep growing, and we know what we're capable of. We've seen it, we've shown it, and now we just got to find ways to stop kicking ourselves in the foot and get better.
One kind of critical play that happened, you're driving the football, it's 3rd down, and it seems like we're in the red zone, and you're kind of wanting the ball to be snapped. It gets rushed a little bit, and you guys aren't. I don't know, from a protection standpoint, they were able to get a sack, and that kind of knocked us back. Ended up being 4th and 15. What was kind of going through your mind as far as that play? Did you ever think about possibly calling a timeout?
Honestly, trying to remember which one we're talking about. Did we kick the field goal on that?
No, we went for it. We got sacked. We got the ball on the 30-yard line. Yeah. Got sacked on the 3rd down play. The ball.
Late in the game.
Yeah, late in the game.
Yeah, it's when you're trailing, those timeouts are so valuable. So if you're confident you can get it snapped, get it called, and get things executed, which I was at the time. But it was cutting it close. It was definitely cutting it close, and the sack obviously is tough in that situation when you got to go. You got to go for it, and to go backwards on a 3rd and whatever it was, 3rd and 8 or something, to set yourself up for 4th and extra long. That's tough sled.
All right, still early in the season. Thank you so much, Carson. Appreciate your time. Long ride home. We'll see you back at FedEx Field next weekend. We're going to now send it back over to Scott and Fred.
Carson Wentz after the game, obviously talking about the things they need to clean up.
Yeah.
It's a long season. There's 13 more games, and
that's why I'm not jumping off
after
the
the last 3 weeks. It feels real long, but
yeah, it does. But I'm not. I'm gonna be real subtle in the way I think. I'm gonna be real grounded in the way I think, and I'm gonna only look at the facts, Jack. And right now, the facts are this: Carson Wentz is 16 quarters old in this offense.
Yes.
16 quarters old in this offense with a offensive line that has been up and down. I feel like the weapons have been there. But at the end of the day, great quarterbacks, good quarterbacks in this league, the game looks different when they play it. Like, they play with a calmness. And how dare I say this? I'm about to throw up in my own mouth.
Go ahead.
Cooper Rush played with that calmness.
Wow.
Where our guy was kind of sporadic and all over the field and looked shaky. And it scares me considering that the backup started for the Cowboys and not for the Commanders. That scares me.
I'm with you. He did, and he's got to clean it up. I mean, again, I think they put all their eggs in that basket, right?
Oh, no, we're married. We're married to him.
Right, you're married to this. I mean, I got these tweets like, hey, well, they only give Dwayne Haskins 4 games, so I get to do this. I mean, again, the money that was put in and again, this was Ron Rivera's decision alone, right?
The commitment.
Yeah, this was his commitment. This was his decision.
Yeah.
So, that's why. I mean, they won't. I mean, you can talk about it and say you could do it, sure, but they're not going to. At this point, they're going to head this way.
And we know what we have in Heineke. We know what he is. Yeah, at the end
I do think there's a Sam Howell play at some point if you don't get your act
together.
together.
Don't do it.
Yeah,
don't start that.
Listen
to me.
That's a month from now. It's maybe a month from now. I'm just saying.
I told you. I like his skill set. He has Tony Romo traits, but he's just not ready. Don't do that,
right.
Jack.
Well,
don't do that to him.
And
don't do that to the organization. Don't do that.
There may be a moment. That's all there is to look forward to besides Christmas. So I'm just saying.
No.
All right, 1-800-493-1003. Experiencing our inaugural season is the Washington Commanders season, and single game tickets available now at commanders.com/tickets. Titans in next week.
We'll be there, Jack. We live every week from the stadium. We were live, so you can
hopefully no rain for once.
Yeah.
That would be nice, right?
Yeah, no rain, but we
maybe
can't
some
control
offensive
the weather.
touchdowns too would be cool.
That's the one thing.
Lead.
Hey, I'm going to say that's one
lead
thing
would be
we know
nice.
about the weather, man. He tells lies all the time, but hopefully it's a sunny day out there, and hopefully we can get things going and put a better taste in the fans' mouth than we have so far.
All right, let's do this. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification.
10 seconds.
This is the Washington Commanders Radio Network. All right, Commanders lose the Cowboys 25-10. The rewarding moment is brought to you by the Maryland Lottery. Please play responsibly. And that was, of course, the lone Commanders touchdown. The Jahan Dotson touchdown reception for the rookie. That was number 4 on the year. He leads all rookies in receiving touchdowns. And it was the lone touchdown in the second quarter and the lone Commanders touchdown of the day.
You know what? I called home because, half of my family in Mississippi, they all Cowboy fan, bandwagoners. That's all they do it. So I've been talking trash to them, and I said, you know what? We put on all black today because we was going to a funeral.
Yeah.
I just didn't know it was
your
out.
own funeral. That's what I told you is always the danger of wearing black.
I showed up and looked in the casket, and it was me.
Yeah.
All right, what is that about, Jack?
That's the danger with going black. Man.
Hey, man, listen.
It's always the danger. You're taking that chance.
Hey, but you know how
the Raiders have heard that joke a billion times.
Hey, but you know how good it felt coming out. And I was like, hey, and then I was getting called like, yeah, I can't hate on y'all, man. The jerseys are fresh. I like, yeah, that's funeral gear. All right, that's what it is. It's funeral gear. But I guess it's not.
Oh, boy. All right, coming up, we'll get back to some calls. Hopefully, you'll be there for us. 1-800-493-1003, 800-493-1003. 25-10, the final. You're watching Command Center Postgame Live on the Washington Commanders YouTube channel and listening on the Washington Commanders Radio Network.
It's time to take your adventure off-road in a Toyota truck. Buy a Tacoma now with 2.49% APR financing. Or hit the trail in a 4Runner, ready for the toughest terrain, with the best resale value of any off-road SUV for '22, according to Kelley Blue Book's KBB.com. See your dealer and reserve yours today. Toyota, let's go places.
The modern world is a digital world. At home, at work, or on the go. We rely on data every day. Losing it can result in lost family photos, lost business, or even a lost job. Want to avoid these problems? You need cyber protection, where backup and cybersecurity meet. Only Acronis offers backup solutions that also stop ransomware before your files are damaged. It's easy, efficient, and secure cyber protection for all your data. Try Acronis free for 30 days. Go to acronis.com today for modern cyber protection.
Of the Dallas Cowboys. 0-2 to start the division, Fred.
I hate
1-3 overall, but 0-2 to start in the division. Big problem,
and
right?
Then the thing about it is these Cowboys fans, they gonna really act like they really beat us at our best. They can't feel good about this one, but I know they will. But they also should feel good about they did beat us with a backup quarterback. Like they're just gonna be what I'm riding on until we get everything fixed. You cannot show up and get beat by a team's backup the way we did today. Not when you got your starter in tow, not when you got your number 1, number 2, number 3 wide receiver, not when you got your whole entire defense. And that's where the problem lies with me. This defensive backfield, we have to come up with some answers, all right, because no one in the defensive backfield is playing well. Well, maybe Cameron Curl and Forrest, they the guys that show up and make plays. Other than that, nobody seems to be blossoming in this offense. And this defense. And please, stop putting Jamin Davis in no man's land. Don't tell me what he can't do. Tell me what he can. And I know for a fact for the last couple of weeks, he showed me he can rush the passer.
Well, Dallas, give them credit, right? They saw that right at the line.
Yeah.
He was going to be covering CeeDee Lamb
twice.
Yes. Twice. Back-to-back plays.
Yes. And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Do not put him in situations to fail. And that's what great coaching is. Put me in positions to succeed. Right now, nobody is playing at a, relaxed pace or tone.
All right. Let's try to get Will in Florida in 800-493-1003, 1-800-493-1003. Will, go ahead, buddy. How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good.
Thanks for joining us. What's happening?
Hello?
Yeah, you're on.
Hey, I'm up now?
Yeah, you're on the air.
You're on there.
Hello? Okay. Hey, how's it going, guys? Quick
Excellent.
point. Carson, I know we're married to him because of the money and the draft picks we gave up for him, but this guy is playing erratic football. He's playing scared, and he has no heart. And that's the problem that I have. He's out there, and he's not showing any heart. And I know we all say, and people are going to get mad at me for saying this, Taylor Heineke, we know what he got. But guess what Taylor Heineke did last year? He won 7 games on a very difficult schedule. I don't think that Carson right now will win 7 games this year. And that's sad. And we have to, at some point, we have to make a decision on several players because we're going to start losing that locker room. I mean, it's as simple as that. What do you guys think about that?
I can't give up on Carson yet. I hate to see you guys in relationships. Like, I'm sorry, the first time your wife don't cook dinner on a Thursday, I got to leave her? Like, listen, 16 quarters. Like, I'm not, you know me. Can
they? Let me ask you this: can they coach some of these issues out of him?
Yes, they can.
Really?
They can coach the fact of the play caller and the quarterback can get on the same page. First of all.
Well, I mean, but it does seem, because you're watching the game together, that he drifts when he should be stepping up in the pocket.
Yes, he does.
But this has kind of been a career thing. He also holds the ball a tick and a half too long when he should have gotten rid of it, and he gets grounding calls. I mean, these things have been going on for his entire career.
Hey,
so I don't know how you think, and I get it. All these coaches think they can fix somebody.
I've been saying I can't
because
fix
of talent, right?
I can't fix everything,
right?
But I can, as a coach, put you in favorable positions that get the best out of you. But
everything almost has to be perfect, and it's never going to be perfect.
Well,
Clearly.
they're going through a trial and error here right now too. Like they're going through a trial and error to see what he's good at, what he's not good at, what he like and what he don't like, and you can only do that by going to war. We're in war right now, and I'm sorry. Sometimes we don't like the luxuries that come with war. Meaning you see that.
But what would you say today if you're the play caller in Scott Turner? Like, what is he doing well today?
All right. Well, we know he got a strong enough arm to push the ball down the field. All right. We know when we get quick pass, he needs to lower. Like usually when he misses throws, he misses high.
Yeah.
That's where you should not want to miss it.
That's why we heard so much about catch radius in the offseason.
Yeah. And all I'm saying is he misses high, and that's never a good thing. All right. Second of all, a guy like this needs his tight ends. All right, quarterback's best friend is a tight end. That's easy completion. That's easy third downs. We're not getting the tight ends involved. When we did get the tight ends involved today was in the running game, and it worked. Now, I would have loved to see them come out and get in that big formation and spread out with a money and with guys like Cole Turner, and then let's throw the ball with that big group in there. And you're right, he do drifts a lot. He do holds on to the ball, and when he holds on to the ball, you think long, you think wrong. He probably throwing it to the wrong zone. We done seen that happen time and time and time again. But that's just him settling down. That's him understanding what the coach wants him to do. That's him getting relationships. And the one relationship that I'm seeing right now that I don't like, since we talking relationships, and I'm Dr. Love, hey, Terry McLaurin and Carson Wentz need counseling. All right? They need to get on the same page.
Right.
So when he in trouble, when he don't know what to do, when he uncertain where to go with the ball, that's what your number one receiver is for. Just give him a chance.
All right, we'll get back to some calls. We're also going to hear Ron Rivera's podium in a moment. 800-493-1003, 800-493-1003 as we head to hour 2 of the official postgame show after the 25-10 loss to Dallas. Commanders now 1-3, 0-2 in the division to start the season. Titans will be at FedEx Field next Sunday, and did anybody need to win more than this team? I can't think of anybody. I can't think of anybody.
Guess what? It ain't how you start. It's how you finish.
Well, listen, we've talked about the struggles in September and October. We'll have to maybe revisit that again at some point, how you fix it, because you're kind of in the middle of it right now, and it looks like it's the reoccurring pattern, if you will, which is quite frustrating. So we'll get into that. 800-493-1003, the podium coming up next with Ron Rivera as well. And more of your phone calls, thanks to our YouTube team. They're going out to happy hour. We wish we could join them. This is the Washington Commanders Radio Network.